Hello, maybe Shet, and welcome back to my channel. You ready for this? There's no other way to say this. Here's what no one will tell you. Ready is a myth. Yes, to be ready is a myth. Hear me out. I moved to France with one suitcase and one objective: to become fluent in French. The rest has been a beautiful surprise. I also moved for the adventure and to challenge my resilience and to put myself in a position to learn. And it did not disappoint. Okay. As I mentioned in the video about uh, meeting my husband just months after declaring myself forever single, I was living in temporary housing. Now, prior to that temporary housing, I was in another temporary housing, which is very typical for expats. Okay. Now, prior to moving here, I thought I was ready in the sense, now I was ready emotionally. Okay. Because obviously I'm still here. I survived. So clearly I was ready on some level. But logically, now I was armed with the information that renting an apartment would be challenging as it is for expats. We're seen as a flight risk. What if something goes wrong with your visa? What if you just get fed up with France and want to go home? What if something happens and you have to go home? Understandable. So that makes you less desirable to landlords, particularly in a society where it's a small country, so therefore resources can be relatively scarce. Also, I was not prepared for landlords to be skeptical of me because you're just a single woman. Again, what if something happens to you? What if you get sick? I've been taking care of myself my whole life. But of course, I am in a different country with a different culture, different mindset. I get it. Okay. I made the decision to come here. But for a New York City native, and as we say, if you can make it anywhere, people go to New York to prove themselves. Okay. So to hear that for me was threw me through a loop. Also, the fact that I'm older. At the time, I was in my late 40s, my gray. Oh, again, what if something happens to you? What if you get sick? Again, to me, this was white noise, but I understood where they were coming from. So, that being said, just prior to landing in the little cul-de-sac that I am in now, I rented an apartment for 2 months. That's something else that everyone should be aware of, particularly in the South, where there is a huge tourism industry. A lot of locals get displaced to accommodate the tourist. Okay. So it can be difficult to find an apartment or lodging between during the tourist months. Okay. A lot of locals get displaced. Okay. So I'm sure you've heard those stories. Now, for me, I had found an apartment rental, a sublet, a summer sublet for 2 months. And the sublet did not start, had one day prior to that starting. And I think it was started on a Friday because the young lady was leaving. It started on a Friday because anyhow, it started on a Friday. And I thought to myself, it was only Thursday. I couldn't find a room. And I said, you know what? Let me treat myself. One day I had to work the following Friday because I was teaching English at a prestigious boarding school. And I said to myself, let me treat myself. It'll be nice to relax, whatever. I reserved a room, a reasonable room at a hotel. I arrived at the hotel. I Somewhere around 8:30, 9 o'clock, they had already given my room away. So here I was in the streets of Aix-en-Provence with no place to go. And I probably could have called someone or whatever, but I didn't want to put anybody out. It was already late. And I said, just get through the night. This is where my brain was working. Again, I had no way of knowing how my brain would work under those circumstances. So I said to myself, you know what? Go to the 24-hour brasserie. Hang out there, order a few things to eat. They don't bother you. which is what I did, and hang out until morning. Yeah. So I sat there for like 7 hours, six, 7 hours, ran into the bathroom, changed my dress, did a little freshen up, and went to work. Okay. Now, when I got to my rental and I told the woman that I was renting her, she said, "Why didn't you call me?" I said, I didn't think about it. I didn't want to put anybody out. And again, I did not know, I could never know how I would operate under those circumstances, under that stress. And again, a lot of it is pride. Yes, I confess. A lot of it is pride. Again, not wanting to put anybody out. It was one night. I figured I could suck it up. That's something I'm learning, is sucking things up unnecessarily. So I say that to say, if you don't feel ready, you probably never will be. At least not, you won't feel ready. I felt ready, but I still wasn't ready. There is such a thing as arming yourself with information, but there are some things that you can never truly know until you're in it, literally in the trenches. There are just some things that no one can prepare you for. You just have to dive in. Okay, that's all I've got for you for right now. And if this resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Also, if this resonated with you, put in the comments, myth. À tout à l'heure. Thanks for tuning in.